Hello, good afternoon. Welcome back to the Law Entrance YouTube channel. We are back with another live Hindu and Indian Express analysis. Today is 22nd of August, not June, 22nd of August, and it's a Thursday. And I'm your host, Govind Singh, your faculty for logical reasoning, GK, and English. How many of you are here with me today? Quickly give me a response in the chat box. Arman is here, Divyansh is here. Good afternoon. Very good afternoon to all of you. Pavitra is here, Jasmeet is here, Rajnandini is here, Gauravi is here. Okay. Pushkar is here. Good afternoon. Ruchir is here. Jia is here. Okay, I see some new names. That's good. Anvay is here. Kashish is here. Lovely. Very nice. Can we have more passages on inferences in logical reasoning? Yes, we can. Why not? We can schedule them for our next class. Today's class is on strengthening and weakening. Good afternoon, Deeptakshi. Good afternoon, Ishu. Okay, everyone is on time today. I like that. Punctual हैं आज सब लोग. Sarvesh is here. Ansh is here. Good afternoon, everyone. Very good afternoon. चलो जी ठीक है तो स्टार्ट करते हैं. Random question, Marvel or DC? Marvel. I personally like Marvel. Yes, new thumbnail. Thank you for noticing, Gauravi. I hope you guys like it though. The previous one was getting a little monotonous, so I thought let's spice it up a bit. Good afternoon, Vindhya. Good afternoon, Parv. Okay. Also, thumbnail का एक purpose और भी था कि I let you guys know at least about the one topic which we are going to discuss in the Hindu analysis. So I have added a strip where I can write the topic of today's day, that particular day. ठीक है. Googling what the picture is called. Which picture? Loving the new thumbnail. Okay. Thank you. अच्छा थंबनेल को आप गूगल कर रहे थे कि व्हाट इज द पिक्चर कॉल्ड. ओके न्यू ब्लू थंबनेल. Okay, lovely. Thank you so much for the appreciation for the thumbnail. Let's start today's class. If you guys are ready to start, quickly give me a ready in the chat box. As most of you have joined on time today, let's start on time. Quickly, a ready in the chat box, and then we shall start today's class. Ready in the chat box. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Okay, everyone is ready. Let's go. We have a lot of new people as well today. So, welcome to the session, everyone who has joined us live for the first time. Good afternoon, Satviki. Okay, so today is 22nd of August. It's a Thursday, 3 p.m., and Hindu analysis is here. So, what are the topics for discussion? Let's see. The first topic of discussion is PM Modi's Poland visit, which was also on your thumbnail. We'll discuss about that. Then there's an editorial article on LGBTQ welfare. It talks about how there were a lot of promises in the political parties' manifestos, but a budgetary allocation has not been made in proportion to those promises. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about hydropower projects and how they should be sustainable and how they can impact the environment if the impact assessment is not done properly. We'll talk about that in context of your Wayanad landslides, your Sikkim landslides. So we'll touch upon that as well. And lastly, there's another article on imports and the Indian pharmaceutical industry. And we'll discuss that when we come there. And lastly, of course, we have our three new words of vocabulary. So that is the agenda for today. And let's start without any further ado. So the first topic of the day is Indian PM Mr. Modi's visit to Poland. Now, Poland, as we all know, I hope we all know, is in Europe. And Poland की capital मुझे बता दो जल्दी से. What is the capital of Poland? Although it's written in the article as well, but still. Chat box में Poland की capital. Let's see who all know. Yes, it is Warsaw. It's not Kiev. Kiev is Ukraine की capital issue. Kiev is for Ukraine. Warsaw is Poland. ठीक है. तो अब दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम इन 45 years, like in the last 45 years, this is the first time an Indian Prime Minister has visited the country of Poland. ठीक है, so this becomes थोड़ा सा historically important and becomes important from CLAT perspective and competitive exam perspective, because this is a very landmark sort of an event. 45 years ke baad some prime minister from India is visiting Poland. And why they are visiting Poland? To forge more vibrant relationships. How and why do we want to form vibrant relationships? We'll talk about that. Before we talk about that, I want to discuss the location of Poland, how Poland is strategically located in the geopolitics of the world, in the geography of the world. Can you guys tell me a few neighboring countries of Poland? Do you guys have a fair bit of idea where exactly is Poland? Who are the neighbors of Poland? Which neighboring countries? Any ideas? Any guesses? Yeah, they can ask you the capital. The probability is a little low. Like if you are really lucky, they'll ask you the capital, but they can definitely ask you other things, which we'll discuss right now. Um, Mishika says Russia. Divyan says Middle Europe location. Yes, that's not wrong. Ukraine, Germany. Okay. Let's look at it on the map. Do you guys want to look at it on the map? देखते हैं थोड़ा सा geography देखते हैं. Let's make the class a little more exciting. So ये तो हमारी लोकेशन है अभी, करियर लॉन्चर कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस. थोड़ा सा बाहर आ जाते हैं यहाँ से. के इंडिया के बाहर आ गए हम बिना वीज़ा लिए. चलो, पोलैंड दिख गया हमें बड़ा सा. ये रहा पोलैंड, ये रही इसकी कैपिटल वॉर्सो. नाउ लेट्स लुक एट द ज्योग्राफी. नाउ यहाँ पे आपको दिख रहा है ऑन द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड द नेबर इज जर्मनी, and on the southern side you have Czech countries, you have Slovakia, you have your Ukraine के साथ there's a big border, and a big border with Belarus. ठीक है, बेलारस कह लो या बेलारूस कह लो, and Lithuania. But does anyone know what is this country which is not mentioned? Like ये क्या छोटा सा लैंड मास है जिसकी बाउंड्री अलग है बट नाम नहीं लिखा कंट्री का? Any ideas, any guesses? This is what I was trying to show you. ठीक है, देखो, तो यूक्रेन एंड रशिया का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट वी ऑल ऑफ अस नो. ठीक है, द वॉर इज गोइंग ऑन एंड अभी रिसेंटली रिसेंट न्यूज़ क्या है? व्हाट इज द रिसेंट न्यूज़ विद रिगार्ड्स टू द यूक्रेन रशिया थिंग? डिड एनीवन ऑफ यू रीड इट अप? आज के न्यूज़पेपर में है. चलो, तो बेलारूस जो है एज अ कंट्री सपोर्ट्स विच साइड, यूक्रेन और रशिया? बेलारूस सपोर्ट्स whom? Ukraine pushing hard, yes. Belarus supports Russia. Correct. That's correct. Yes, Ukraine attacked Russia. Drone attacks. Mishika is saying disputed lands. Not exactly disputed, but there is a context to it. Drone attack Moscow. Correct. So Belarus, we all know, supports Russia, and Poland supports which side? The Russian side, the Russian Belarus side, or the Western powers, Europe and NATO and US side? Which side? पोलैंड कौन सी साइड है? आई एम आस्किंग यू टू पुट दिस इनटू पर्सपेक्टिव एज टू व्हाई वी हैव विजिटेड पोलैंड आफ्टर 45 years. यस, अरमान ने गूगल कर लिया. दैट लैंड इज कॉल्ड कैलिनिनग्राड एंड इट्स अ रशियन एनक्लेव. इट इज अ रशिया कंट्रोल्ड टेरिटरी. इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ रशिया. करेक्ट. सो रशिया में नहीं है बट इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ रशिया. जूम इन एंड शो यू. देखो, यहाँ नीचे आपको रशियन में इसका नाम लिखा हुआ दिख रहा है. कैलिनिनग्राड इज अ टेरिटरी विच इज कंट्रोल्ड बाय रशिया. ठीक है, ऑल्दो इट्स नॉट एग्जैक्टली इन रशिया. सो पोलैंड ऑल्सो शेयर्स इट्स बॉर्डर्स विद रशिया. टेक्निकली इट डज. ठीक है. ओके, स्टडिंग अबाउट रशिया फॉर फन, दैट्स गुड. ठीक है, तो पोलैंड किसको सपोर्ट करता है? वेस्टर्न पार्ट्स को. ठीक है, नेटो एंड ऑल को. तो अब हम पोलैंड क्यों विजिट कर रहे हैं? टू क्रिएट अ बैलेंसिंग एक्ट, टू बैलेंस बोथ ऑफ आवर डिप्लोमेसीज. अभी हम रिसेंटली रशिया विजिट करके आए थे. पीएम मोदी रशिया विजिट करके आए थे आफ्टर ही गॉट इलेक्टेड, एंड दैट गॉट अ लॉट ऑफ बैकलैश फ्रॉम यूएस एंड अदर यूरोपियन कंट्रीज लाइक द वेस्टर्न फैक्शन, एंड दे सेड कि नहीं जाना चाहिए था रशिया एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. सो टू बैलेंस दैट आउट अब हम पोलैंड विजिट करके आ गए, क्योंकि पोलैंड बहुत टाइम से हम गए भी नहीं थे, मोदी जी का घूमने का मन था. And this also consolidates a relationship with this European country which is supporting the NATO and the US. ठीक है, तो ये तो हो गया थोड़ा सा जियोपॉलिटिकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट. अब थोड़ा सा हिस्टोरिकल रेफरेंसेस जो आर्टिकल हमारा इंडो एनालिसिस में है, उसमें कुछ फैक्चुअल चीज़ें हैं पोलैंड से रिलेटेड, वो हम डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. फर्स्ट थिंग वाज दैट दिस वाज द फर्स्ट विजिट बाय एन इंडियन प्राइम मिनिस्टर in 45 years. The second thing which is important is Poland has a हिस्टोरिकल रिलेशनशिप विद इंडिया. जो हमारे गुजरात जो स्टेट है उसके एक महाराजा थे, एक टेरिटरी थी नवानगर करके, ठीक है, मतलब है अभी भी. तो नवानगर गुजरात के जो महाराजा थे जिनका नाम था, क्या नाम था, डज एनीवन नो? पॉपुलरली ही वाज कॉल्ड जाम साहेब, बट हिज होल नेम वाज जाम साहेब दिग्विजय सिंह जी रणजीत सिंह जी जडेजा. ठीक है, तो हो सकता है रविंद्र जडेजा के कोई एंसेस्टर्स हों, बट दिस वाज द महाराजा. So I'm writing down the name. It's a long name. जाम साहेब रंजीत सिंह जी कर लो, चलो फर्स्ट नेम छोड़ दो. रंजीत सिंह जी जडेजा. ठीक है, तो ये है नवानगर गुजरात के महाराजा. अब इनकी यहाँ पे क्यों बात कर रहे हैं हम, इनकी बात हम इसलिए कर रहे हैं बिकॉज दिस महाराजा हैज़ अ मेमोरियल इन पोलैंड. अब इन्होंने ऐसा क्या खास कर दिया कि पोलैंड वालों ने इनका मेमोरियल बना दिया? डज एनीवन नो, डज एनीवन नो दिस हिस्टोरिकल फैक्ट? या फिर कोई न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ के आया है आज का तो शायद पता हो. नहीं, यू डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर द होल नेम, जस्ट जडेजा इज फाइन. जाम साहेब एंड जडेजा इज फाइन. नो आइडिया कि महाराजा ने क्या किया, तो मैं बता देता हूँ. महाराजा ने जब वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 का टाइम चल रहा था एंड व्हेन पोलैंड वाज आल्सो फाइटिंग इन दैट वॉर, तो महाराजा ने रेफ्यूज दिया था 1000 पॉलिश स्टूडेंट्स को. ठीक है, सो महाराजा गेव प्रोटेक्शन और रेफ्यूज और लेट्स से स्पेस टू स्टे और वट एवर, होस्टेड हिम 1000 पॉलिश स्टूडेंट्स. ठीक है, तो इनको शरण दी थी, इनको बचाया था 1000 पॉलिश बच्चों को महाराजा ने. तो टू ऑनर दिस फैक्ट, टू ऑनर दिस हेल्प, द पॉलिश हैव मेड मेमोरियल in the name of this Maharaja in the center of Warsaw, which is their capital. And what is that memorial called? पता है किसी को नाम? That memorial is called Good Maharaja Square. ठीक है, so Polish language में it's called Dobrego Maharadzi. I'll write it down. Dobrego Maharadzi, which roughly translates in English to Good Maharaja Square. ठीक है, तो हमारे पीएम मोदी जब अभी विजिट करके आए, मतलब विजिट करने गए हैं पोलैंड, तो ही पेड होमेज टू द महाराजा, लाइक ही लेड अ wreath. What is a wreath or a wreath, however you pronounce it? It's a sort of a flowers sort of a thing. इस टाइप का होता है, उसमें फूल वूल लगे होते हैं, आपने देखा होगा हॉलीवुड मूवीज में. ठीक है, वो जो मेमोरियल्स पे चढ़ाते हैं, तो ही लेड अ रीथ ऑन द मेमोरियल ऑफ द महाराजा. This was one of the places he visited. He also visited another place which is called the Memorial for the Battle of Monte Cassino. ठीक है, तो ये एक और historical fact है which is relevant to Poland and India's history. तो व्हाट इज दिस बैटल ऑफ मॉन्टे कैसीनो? इसको बैटल फॉर रोम भी बोला जाता है. 1940s में हुआ था ये, आई थिंक 1942 टू बी स्पेसिफिक. एंड इस बैटल में द पॉलिश फोर्सेस एंड द इंडियन फोर्सेस फॉट हैंड इन हैंड. पॉलिश और इंडियन सोल्जर्स ने साथ में लड़ाई करी थी. कहाँ पे करी थी? इटली में करी थी. किसके अगेंस्ट करी थी? ऑब्वियसली उस टाइम का जो एक्सिस पावर्स का राजा था, जर्मनी ने करी थी, जर्मनी से करी थी. And this side they were the allies. Who were the allies? Can you name some of the allies in the World War II? Who were the allied powers? देखते हैं वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री किसकी स्ट्रांग है. हाँ, सर्कल ऑफ फ्लावर्स, बैंड ऑफ फ्लावर्स. First name is Digvijay Singh ji. Second name is Ranjit Singh ji, which was probably his dad or something. He gave refugee to Polish refugees. Yes, correct. Who were the allies? US, UK, France, Russia, China, Canada, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, बेसिकली एवरीवन एक्सेप्ट जर्मनी. ठीक है. तो सब जर्मनी से ही लड़ रहे थे, तो सारे एलाइज थे. तो उस टाइम वो भी ज़माना था जब यूएस और यूएसएसआर साथ में लड़ा करते थे. अब एक दूसरे से लड़ते हैं. बट एनीवे, कमिंग बैक टू द पॉलिश न्यूज़. तो ये दो चीज़ें थी. वन वॉज योर महाराजा महाराजा स्क्वायर एंड वन वॉज योर बैटल ऑफ मॉन्टे कैसीनो फॉट इन इटली. And yeah, I gave you the geopolitical context, I gave you the geographical context, and I told you that 45 years mein, this was the first time that India has visited Poland. So I think that was enough for this particular news. Uske alawa there's not much to read up on it. मैं न्यूज़पेपर पे दिखा देता हूँ आपको. Let's quickly go through it. PM Modi begins Poland visit, says it will help forge more vibrant relationships. It is the first visit by Indian PM in 45 years. Modi interacts with Indian diaspora in Warsaw, pays homage to Jam Sahib of Navanagar at his memorial and to Indian and Polish soldiers who fought in the Second World War. Okay, this is the gist of the article. You can read up on it. It's pretty much the same. Okay, there was a Garba performance and all of that. ये सब आपको याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. ये रहा आपका डोब्रेगो महाराज जी और गुड महाराजा स्क्वायर. ठीक है. ये रहा आपका बैटल ऑफ मॉन्टे कैसीनो, विच वाज अ मेजर बैटल फॉट एंड वन बाय द पॉलिश फोर्सेस एज पार्ट ऑफ द लार्जर एलाइड पावर्स इन इटली अगेंस्ट द एक्सिस फोर्सेस. ठीक है. ओके, कूल. लेट्स मूव टू आवर नेक्स्ट टॉपिक फॉर द डे, which is आफ्टर मैनिफेस्टो मूवमेंट बजटरी डिसअपॉइंटमेंट. तो यहाँ पे बात किसकी हो रही है? यहाँ पे बात हो रही है LGBTQIA+ कम्युनिटी की. ठीक है. तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या है? कॉन्टेक्स्ट ये है कि अ लॉट ऑफ पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज हैड मेड अ लॉट ऑफ प्रोमिसेस दैट हम LGBTQ के लिए ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे, ये स्कीम लाएंगे, वो स्कीम लाएंगे. बट व्हेन द एनडीए केम इनटू पावर एंड व्हेन द बजट वाज अनाउंस्ड, द बजट seemed to be disappointing for the LGBTQ community because not a lot of funds have been allocated for the schemes which are for the welfare of the transgender community or the LGBTQ community. तो ये इसी बारे में ये आर्टिकल है कि इट्स अ डिनायल ऑफ देयर राइट्स. दे हैव रिसीव्ड वेरी मीगर फंडिंग फॉर द क्रूशियल प्रोग्राम्स व्हिच आर रनिंग फॉर देयर वेलफेयर एंड बेनिफिट, एंड हाउ पॉलिटिकल सपोर्ट इज very much needed for a marginalized section. एक और वर्ड क्या होता है? विक्टिमाइज तो नहीं बोलूंगा मैं, मार्जिनलाइज्ड इज द राइट वर्ड. मार्जिनलाइज सेक्शन लाइक LGBTQ+ है. ठीक है. तो आर्टिकल देख लेते हैं. उससे पहले थोड़ा सा कॉन्टेक्स्ट समझ लेते हैं LGBTQ इन इंडिया का. आई होप यू ऑल आर अवेयर व्हाट आर LGBTQIA+. मुझे बताने की जरूरत तो नहीं है, आई गेस ऑल ऑफ यू आर अवेयर. येस और नो बता दो मुझे चैट बॉक्स में. यस, ऑल ऑफ अस नो what are who are LGBTQIA+. Yes, no, yes. जेनजी जनता हो आप लोग, पता ही होगा आपको. सही है, बढ़िया है, सबको पता है. कूल. ठीक है. तो अब ये पता है आपको कि इनके फेवर में कौन सा जजमेंट आया था रिसेंटली? विच लैंडमार्क जजमेंट डीक्रिमिनलाइज्ड Section 377 of the erstwhile Indian Penal Code? Which landmark judgment I am talking about? Yes, Arman rightly said, if we don't know, then who will? Fair enough. Still, it's my job to ask. If anyone is unaware, living under a rock, my job to enlighten them. Okay, so which judgment? Yes, Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India decriminalized Article 3, not Article, pardon me, Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code. Absolutely correct. Which year was this judgment? Which year? Which year are we talking of? 2018, correct. Absolutely. ठीक है. तो was this the first time that 377 was decriminalized? Yes or no? No, this was not the first time. The first time was in another landmark case which happened much years ago, which was the Nas Foundation case. ठीक है. तो ये एक और लैंडमार्क केस है जो आपको पता होना चाहिए, नास फाउंडेशन वर्सेस आई गेस दिल्ली के अगेंस्ट था, नेशनल कैपिटल टेरिटरी ऑफ दिल्ली। सो ये केस था 2009 का, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग। सो 2009 में इन द नास फाउंडेशन केस द दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट डीक्रिमिनलाइज्ड 377, बट फिर से एक बार 2013 में द केस वेंट टू सुप्रीम कोर्ट, एंड 2013 में सुप्रीम कोर्ट रिवर्स द डिसीजन इन द नास फाउंडेशन केस एंड इट अगेन बिकेम अ क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस। But again, in 2018, Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India case, 377 was again decriminalized. ठीक है, तो ये तो थोड़ा हो गया लीगल कॉन्टेक्स्ट जो मैंने आपको दे दिया। अब कैन एनी वन ऑफ यू टेल मी द नेम्स ऑफ एनी वेलफेयर स्कीम्स, एनी इनिशिएटिव्स फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ ट्रांसजेंडर्स और द LGBTQ कम्युनिटी? आर यू गाइस अवेयर कौन सी स्कीम्स हैं? एनी आइडियाज? No ideas. Have you heard of the Smile scheme? SMILE, Smile scheme, Smile initiative. Yes, no, nine. Yes, support for marginalized individuals for livelihood and enterprise. Absolutely correct. The Smile initiative is for the welfare of the transgenders and the LGBTQ community. चलो देखते हैं ये आर्टिकल क्या कह रहा है, फिर थोड़ी सी इस पे हम डिटेल में बात करेंगे. Let's look at what the article is telling us. I'll share the tab. Okay, here article. After manifesto movement, budgetary disappointment. Following a manifesto movement in the lead up to 24 elections, where several parties pledged support for this community, 24 budget has dashed the hopes of queer Indians yearning for recognition in national politics. Who are queer? Queer are people who haven't decided their gender identity. ठीक है, जेंडर फ्लूइड भी कह सकते हो इन सर्टेन सम्स. ठीक है, a transformative overhaul of the government's approach towards LGBTQ plus rights was never expected, especially given the SG's vehement opposition to marriage equality before the Supreme Court. तो ये भी काफी डिबेट चल रही थी कि मैरिज लॉज जो है हमें अमेंड करने चाहिए कि नहीं, शुड वी लीगलाइज द मैरिज फॉर LGBTQ और नॉट. अभी जो है सिर्फ रिलेशनशिप, सेम सेक्स रिलेशनशिप हैज बीन डीक्रिमिनलाइज्ड, बट अभी जो है मैरिज को लेजिटिमेसी नहीं मिली है. Yet the mention of transgender rights in BJP's own manifesto had sparked a glimmer of hope, ray of hope for progress under a Modi 3.0 government. Instead, the community found itself reduced to a mere footnote in the budget, the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment allocation for comprehensive rehabilitation for welfare of transgender person under the Smile program. This program promises to fund Garima Grahes, which are shelter homes, scholarships, and the National Council for Transgender Persons. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे डेटा दिया है काफी सारा, इसमें सेंसस का भी डेटा दिया है इस आर्टिकल में. इस आर्टिकल बताएगा आपको आगे चल के कि as per the 2011 census, which was the previous census which we had, how many transgenders are there in the country? The census said that there are approximately 4.9 lakh transgenders, which is obviously a data which is 13, 14 years old. But even if we consider the old data, the 2011 data, हम मान के चलें अगर there are 5 lakh odd transgenders, if the budgetary allocation is taken into account, one transgender person would get approximately just 1400 rupees for his or her or their welfare. ठीक है, तो 1400 रुपीज आएगा एक ट्रांसजेंडर के लेट्स से हिस्से में, इफ 4.9 लाख इज द नंबर वी आर लुकिंग एट. If you look at the realistic estimate for today, which the article says comes out to be 1.22 crores, then the obviously the allocation per person would even reduce. And कितना reduce हो जाएगा? It would come down to 56 rupees per person. तो 56 rupees से क्या वेलफेयर होगा, क्या स्कॉलरशिप मिलेगी, क्या शेल्टर होम मिलेगा? यू ऑल कैन जज इट बेटर. ठीक है, तो देखते हैं थोड़ा सा आर्टिकल क्या कह रहा है. This is the allocation, budgetary allocation for transgender welfare. Just 50 crore rupees in financial year 24 and 68 crores in financial year 25. ठीक है, सबका साथ सबका विकास section of BJP's संकल्प पत्र. Smile is not the only victim of government's apathy. Apathy is basically opposite of sympathy or empathy. Even more troubling is the reduction in the funding for the National AIDS Control Organization. तो जब आप बात करते हो सेम सेक्स रिलेशनशिप्स की, LGBTQ की, ऑल्सो टॉक अबाउट एड्स, यू ऑल्सो टॉक अबाउट STIs, तो वहाँ पे भी बहुत ज़्यादा डिसअपॉइंटिंग रहा है बजटरी एलोकेशन. NACO, tasked with both combating HIV/AIDS and preventing STIs, plays a crucial role in public health. Despite decades of progress, India still faces one of the largest HIV epidemics, with LGBTQ Indians at the higher risk of contracting the virus and facing distinct psychosocial challenges. ठीक है, psychosocial challenges क्या क्या हैं? What are the challenges which LGBTQ plus community faces apart from the health concerns and the HIV concerns? What do you guys think? What are the challenges this community faces on an everyday basis? Tell me in the chat box. What do you think? What are these psychosocial challenges which we are talking of? Let's look at some responses. Social stigma, absolutely. Not inclusivity, I would say exclusivity, but lack of inclusivity is the better way to put it. Discrimination, non acceptance in society, AIDS, social stigma, shame and inacceptance, harassment, absolutely correct. They're not preferred for jobs, they're not preferred for anything. They are facing stigma for everything which concerns the health of a person, the well-being of a person, the sustenance of a person. तो बहुत सारे challenges हैं, we all know that. ठीक है, social stigma है, taboo है, family pressure है, orthodox approach of Indians which they have to face, mental and physical trauma which they have to face. तो बहुत सारी ये सारी चीज़ें हैं which causes a denial of their rights. ठीक है, यहाँ पे allocation of funds to HIV की बात हो रही है, and the data for how many people would possibly have HIV in India. यहाँ पे बात हो रही है डिनाइल ऑफ राइट्स की. ये जो मैं आपको नंबर्स बता रहा था, 4.9 लाख एज पर द 2011 सेंसस, 1400 फॉर ईच पर्सन, एंड 1.22 CR which makes it 56 rupees per person. ठीक है, पॉलिटिकल सपोर्ट दे आर सीकिंग कि दे शुड गेट पॉलिटिकल सपोर्ट. क्यूअर इंडियंस हैव रिलायड अपॉन कोर्ट्स एज गारंटर्स ऑफ देयर राइट्स. As we navigate new political paradigms, it's important for the queer movement to build upon an impressive history of active political engagement. ठीक है, तो वो अर्ज कर रहे हैं क्यूअर कम्युनिटी को कि दे शुड ऑल्सो गेट इन्वॉल्व इन द पॉलिटिक्स, एंड द पॉलिटिकल कम्युनिटी एंड द पॉलिटिकल फैक्शन शुड ऑल्सो सपोर्ट देम. ठीक है, सो दिस इज व्हाट द आर्टिकल इज ऑल अबाउट. इंपॉर्टेंट आर्टिकल, इस टाइप के पैसेजेस आ जाते हैं कई बार क्लैट में, एलेट में, तो मैंने इसको पिकअप कर लिया. ठीक है, चलो लेट्स मूव टू आवर नेक्स्ट टॉपिक ऑफ द डे. हाइड्रोपावर. Power play is the name of the article. Hydropower projects must factor in the environmental cost too. इसकी हम एक दो बार बात कर चुके हैं. अभी जो आर्टिकल बात कर रहा है, that is keeping in reference, keeping in context the Wayanad landslides, the Sikkim landslide which happened, which damaged a hydropower project as well in Gangtok. What was the name of the hydropower project? It was called the National Hydroelectric Power Corporation का तीस्ता 5 hydropower station, which was in Gangtok. So तीस्ता जो है river flows in Gangtok. ये किस रिवर की ट्रिब्यूटरी है? तीस्ता इज द ट्रिब्यूटरी ऑफ विच रिवर? तीस्ता रिवर कहां से आती है? लेट्स लुक एट द आर्टिकल. देखो आर्टिकल क्या कह रहा है. While Wayanad in Kerala limps back to normal life after the devastating landslide last month, a landslide on Tuesday in Sikkim caused damage to 6 houses and a building of the NHPC at its Teesta 5 hydropower station in Gangtok. There is no comparison of the impact of the event in both places, as there was no loss of lives in Sikkim. However, the cause of concern is that this is the second natural disaster-led assault on a hydropower project along the Teesta. Last year भी हुआ था एक. A deluge from the South Lonak Glacier in North Sikkim last October washed away the Chumthang Dam that was critical to Teesta 3 power station. Okay. Disaster shines a new light on an old but never quiescent conundrum posed by hydropower projects. Okay. From initial proposals nearly 3 decades ago to have 47 power projects along the run of Teesta in Sikkim and West Bengal, only 5 exist. तो ये सब बता रहा है कि तीस्ता पे कितने प्रोजेक्ट्स होने थे, कितने नहीं हुए, कहाँ से आती है. तीस्ता रिवर ओरिजिनेट्स फ्रॉम द सोलामो लेक एट एलिवेशन ऑफ अबाउट दिस इन नॉर्थ सिक्किम. सो का मतलब होता है लद्दाखी में लेक. ठीक है, सोकर भी आपने लेक का नाम सुना होगा, पैंगोंग सो आपने लेक का नाम सुना होगा. तो सो इज द टिबेटन वर्ड फॉर लेक. The river travels 150 kilometers in Sikkim and 123 kilometers in West Bengal before entering Bangladesh from Kuch Bihar. ठीक है, तो ये तो हो गई जोग्राफी की बात, अगर हम इसके इम्पैक्ट की बात करें, अगर हम इस द ब्रॉडर कंसर्न एट हैंड की बात करें, तो दैट इज बैलेंसिंग योर हाइड्रो पावर प्रोजेक्ट डेवलपमेंट विद योर सस्टेनेबल इन्वायरमेंट एंड द इम्पैक्ट ऑन द इन्वायरमेंट। तो ये जो है, जो आपके हिली रीजन्स हैं, ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा इकोलॉजिकली सेंसिटिव रीजन्स हैं। बायोडाइवर्सिटी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से दे आर वेरी फ्रेजाइल रीजन्स। तो not just a risk to lives and property if you build a hydropower project, a large scale hydropower project on such sensitive areas, but also damage to the local population. Local population would have to migrate अगर आप वहाँ पे ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट्स बना दोगे जिस वजह से constant flooding होगी, जिस वजह से they would lose their means of livelihood. So there are multiple aspects linked to it, and the primary one is obviously the environment impact. तो environment impact को assess करने के लिए usually there's an environment impact survey, but वहाँ पे भी we are facing a challenge of not having enough transparency, not having enough credibility of that survey. And उस वजह से जब भी हम कोई project बनाते हैं तो whenever monsoon comes, whenever आउटपोर कम्स, देन कभी कोई डैम टूट जाता है, कभी कोई डैम ओवरफ्लोड हो जाता है, कभी लैंडस्लाइड आ जाती है। तो दीज आर थिंग्स विच वी हेयर एवरी ईयर, सो वी नीड टू वर्क ऑन अ मोर रोबस्ट and sustainable solution of building these hydropower projects. Obviously electricity is important, and you cannot neglect building hydropower projects for a country like India, because we have to move towards renewable energy projects, but you have to strike a balance. It has to be sustainable in nature. Okay, this is what the article is suggesting. Environmental impact assessment of hydropower projects in the region must give a clear estimate of the actual cost involved. This cost is not just your building cost, but also the cost of what is the loss of life and property which would happen if something goes wrong. This would not only bolster public faith in these projects but also be environmentally sustainable. ठीक है, तो ये थोड़ा सा फैक्चुअल डेटा है इसमें अबाउट द तीस्ता रिवर, अबाउट सिक्किम, अबाउट योर तीस्ता रिवर project. And apart from that, the broader concern is sustainable development of hydropower projects. ठीक है, चलो, let's talk about the fourth and the final article for the day, which is imports and Indian pharmaceuticals. Imports have weakened Indian pharmaceutical sector. Now, what is this article talking about? This article is talking about a very interesting issue which has, again, it has two sides. It is quite a duality based issue, I would say. एक तरफ you are the government is moving towards reducing import duties on a lot of medicines. ठीक है, बाहर से जो medicines हम मंगा रहे हैं उस पर हम import duties कम कर रहे हैं. अभी recently news आई थी that we reduced import duties on 3 cancer medicines which were very expensive, the medicines made by AstraZeneca. So क्या ये एक अच्छा move है, reducing import duties on medicines? Is this a good move, yes or no? Yes or no? Reducing import duties, custom duties on imported medicines, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Tell me in the chat box. Depends. Answered like a lawyer. Essential medicines, yes. कौन सी मेडिसिन एसेंशियल नहीं होती है? कौन सी मेडिसिन रिक्रिएशनल खा रहे हैं लोग? विच मेडिसिन इज नॉन एसेंशियल? आज खाने में टेस्ट नहीं आ रहा, इसमें थोड़ा सा कफ सिरप डाल दिया जाए तो मजा ही आ जाए, है ना? ओके, टू साइड्स ऑफ अ कॉइन टाइप सिचुएशन है. क्यों टू साइड्स ऑफ अ कॉइन टाइप सिचुएशन है? ऑल्दो ऑन द फेस ऑफ इट इट लुक्स लाइक ठीक है, मेडिसिन का प्राइस कम होगा, दैट वुड बेनिफिट द पेशेंट, दैट वुड बेनिफिट द कंज्यूमर, कि आपको बहुत ज़्यादा पैसे नहीं खर्च करने पड़ेंगे फॉर बाइंग अ पर्टिकुलर मेडिसिन, स्पेशली फॉर क्रिटिकल मेडिसिन लाइक कैंसर मेडिसिन, मेडिसिन फॉर वेरी क्रिटिकल डिजीजेस. ठीक है, एसेंशियल तो सारी मेडिसिन है, बट मेडिसिन फॉर सच डिजीजेस वेयर लाइफ threat is higher as compared to other diseases, such medicines definitely should be reduced, should the import duty should be reduced on them. But you will have to look at the other side of the coin, which is how would it impact the Indian pharmaceutical sector. So अगर आप जो है मेडिसिन का इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटी कम कर दोगे, दैट मीन्स यू वुड बी एबल टू प्रोक्योर मेडिसिन एट अ लोअर कॉस्ट फ्रॉम अदर कंट्रीज. That would disincentivize the Indian manufacturing sector to manufacture those medicines. If let's say, for example, you are getting Combiflam की बात करते हैं, ठीक है? If you are getting Combiflam at 50 rupees from, let's say, Australia, hypothetically, would a Indian company which is incurring 60 rupees to make Combiflam be incentivized to make Combiflam? No. It would be a bad move for their particular business, right? They would get out of business and they would not have enough incentive to make that particular medicine. If you cannot bolster your Indian pharmaceutical industry, that also has multiple, after effects to it, multiple implications, multiple consequences to it. People would lose their jobs. The more you incentivize the Indian pharmaceutical sector to manufacture these drugs, to produce more of these drugs, that would mean more employment, more jobs, and that would also mean more exports. India already exports a lot of medicines, a lot of pharmaceutical drugs to the other countries in the world. And if you incentivize the Indian manufacturing sector to produce these critical drugs instead of cutting down on import duties and custom duties, that would be probably a better move. But obviously, this is not something which can happen overnight. Formulations and making these drugs and approval of these drugs takes years, sometimes even decades. So you'll have to balance these things out. That imports से जो मेडिसिन जो हम नहीं बना पा रहे या जो हमारे यहाँ उतनी हाई क्वालिटी की नहीं है, उनकी import duties कम definitely होनी चाहिए, but you should also look at how it's adversely impacting the Indian pharmaceutical sector. Is it not creating adverse effect on the Indian pharmaceutical sector? Is it not de-incentivizing them? So you'll have to look at that. Okay? So reduction of import duties is fine, but has to be in sync with your manufacturing. कौन कंट्रोल करता है ये ड्रग्स की प्राइसेस को? इट्स कंट्रोल्ड बाय द ड्रग्स प्राइस कंट्रोल ऑर्डर ऑफ 2013. ठीक है, तो लोकल प्रोडक्शन को इंप्रूव करें, इंक्रीज करें. दिस इज व्हाट द आर्टिकल इज टेलिंग यू अबाउट. इट आल्सो गिव्स यू सम स्टैट्स ऑन हाउ इंडियंस का जो हेल्थ केयर कॉस्ट है, उसमें से 47% ऑफ दैट हेल्थ केयर कॉस्ट इज आउट ऑफ पॉकेट एक्सपेंसेस. दैट इज, इट इज नॉट reimbursed by either their employers or the state government or the central government. So 47, if you are spending 100 rupees on your healthcare, you are spending 47 rupees out of your own pocket, minimum. It can be more as well. Okay. A lot of Indians, we already discussed, do not have health insurance, do not have proper health coverage. So it becomes important that medicines are affordable and medicines are easily available. But you also have to look at the quality of the medicines, and you also have to look that they're not extremely highly priced, so that people are not able to afford them. So this is what the article is about. I'll show you the article on the newspaper as well. Roughly, this is the gist of the article. Okay, let's see. Ensuring affordability of pharmaceutical is essential for controlling healthcare out-of-pocket expenses. 47.1%. Drug Price Control Order 2013 regulates the prices. However, the government has taken two initiatives to meet domestic requirements through imports, which could have a chilling effect on the domestic industry. Okay, adverse effect. First was Department of Expenditure order permitting the procurement of 120 medicines through global tenders. And currently, the companies selling these medicines enjoy a market monopoly in India, largely due to patent protection, regulatory barriers, or both. Moreover, for over 40 of these 120 medicines, DOE orders specifies a specific brand to be procured, implying that the monopoly control of foreign companies would be enhanced. Okay. So you are creating a monopoly of one particular brand, that सिर्फ इसी brand की drugs हम use करेंगे या medicines use करेंगे, and that would again disincentivize your Indian manufacturers. Secondly, the budget proposes removing 10 to 12% custom duty on three cancer medicines by AstraZeneca, ostensibly to reduce their prices. Given that some of these medicines are priced extremely high, the proposed import duty reduction would contribute little towards making them affordable. These measures could seriously disincentivize domestic producers. We discussed that. Okay. Then you are talking about new medicines under patent protection, how Patent Act works, how Section 83 of the Patent Act says that patents are granted to encourage inventions and to secure that inventions are worked in India on a commercial scale and to the fullest extent that is reasonably practicable without undue delay. ठीक है, तो ये पेटेंट लेना भी एक चैलेंज है फॉर द इंडियन मेडिसिन प्रोड्यूसर्स. They have to be affordable as well as have the approval. If a patented medicine is not available to the public at a reasonably affordable price, compulsory licenses can be granted to any company willing to make the product in India. Issuing CL is the most effective remedy to ensure affordability. So there are multiple dimensions to it, multiple aspects to it. Indian Patent Act also permits the granting of government use licenses Section 100 states patents granted do not in any way prohibit central government in taking measures to protect public health, which is government can decide ki which medicine they are going to give the license to, which medicine or which company they are going to give a monopoly to, sell that particular drug. The multiple patent act regulations which come into play here. Then you have biosimilar guidelines for producing medicines, how animal studies are mandatory, which are no longer necessary in developed countries, stringent regulatory standards. So regulatory standards की जब हम बात करते हैं तो US, UK, all of them have very strict regulatory standards when it comes to drugs approval. ठीक है, FDA वगैरह आपने काफी न्यूज में सुने होंगे, FDA approved drug है या नहीं है. क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स होते हैं, बहुत टाइम तक क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स होते हैं, बट इंडिया में उतना रोबस्ट मैकेनिज्म नहीं है व्हेन इट कम्स टू testing of drugs and approval of drugs. So you have to be cautious with respect to that as well. ठीक है कि आप हेल्थ से भी लोगों के खिलवाड़ नहीं कर सकते. You cannot be negligent with the health of people. ठीक है. Reliance on imports could have a chilling effect on the pharma industry, weakening its ability to remain relevant. Government needs to review its recent decision, but more crucially, align its policies to support the growth of domestic pharma industry. ठीक है. Gist of the article I already told you. So that is all for today is Hindu analysis, and let's do the vocabulary quickly. The first word is recalcitrant. Recalcitrant मतलब होता है having an obstinately uncooperative attitude towards authority or discipline. Obstinate means stubborn. Okay. We have done this word in Hindu analysis only. Synonyms are uncooperative, disobedient, intractable. Antonyms are amenable, biddable, compliant. The university suspended the most recalcitrant demonstrators. ठीक है. Recalcitrant is बात न मानना authorities की, विद्रोह. Second word is ostensibly. We just read this word in the pharmaceutical wala article. Apparently or purportedly. ठीक है. ये simply ostensibly means apparently, seemingly, possibly, but perhaps not actually. Apparently, seemingly. Antonyms are implausibly, impossibly, improbably. Sentences ostensibly. A university student studying abroad. He was actually a brilliant guy. The third word of the day is precarious. Precarious means not securely held or in position, something dangerous, likely to fall or collapse. Treacherous, uncertain, dicey. Antonyms are innocent, innocuous, and non-hazardous. Okay. Sentence: the word is a precarious and unstable place. As of now, most CLAT aspirants are also in a precarious place. Okay. Chalo, so that was all about vocabulary for the day. Precarious is word number one, ostensibly is word number two, and recalcitrant is word number three. If you have any questions related to today's Hindu analysis, please feel free to ask. If not, we can wrap up today's session. Reminder for tomorrow's quiz. Tomorrow we are having Menti quiz. Same time, 3 p.m. What are the topics? The topics are awards, the topics are appointments, and the topics are important days. The timeline you should be looking at is the previous 3 to 4 months to prepare for this particular Menti quiz, which would happen tomorrow, 3 p.m. after our Hindu analysis. Okay? And if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. Do also comment after the live stream ends. And yeah, that's all for today. 100 days from tomorrow. Yes, that also reminds me that kal se ek 100 days 100 marks series of shorts is starting on YouTube. Okay? So stay tuned to that as well. 100 days 100 marks series. Make sure you have made everyone to subscribe the channel, and if you haven't, it's time to do it now. Okay? Chalo. That's all for today's class, guys. Thank you so much for participating. See you all tomorrow again at 3 p.m. See you all today as well at 8 p.m. in the logical reasoning class. Today we'll be doing strengthening and weakening. So make sure you don't miss it. Okay, that's all. That's a wrap. Thank you so much. Take care. Keep learning. Keep preparing. That's me signing off. Tips on how to be calm during the exam. Let's talk about it in the evening session. ठीक है, शाम को बात करते हैं इसकी. चलो, bye bye. Take care, guys. Ending the stream. Thank you.